Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to teach you how to choose columns in a table dynamically with a slicer in Power BI. This is incredibly useful when you want to give your report users the flexibility to switch between different data columns without cluttering your dashboard with multiple visuals. Let's start by opening your Power BI desktop application. Once you're in, look at the top of the screen and click on Transform Data. This action will open a new window where you can modify and shape your data before loading it into your report. This is the Power Query Editor, and it's where we'll do most of our work for this tutorial. In the Power Query Editor, you'll see your data sources listed on the left side. Select the data source you want to work with and right-click on it. From the menu that appears, click Duplicate. This creates a copy of your data source, which is important because we're going to transform it without affecting the original table. You'll want to rename this duplicate so it's easy to identify later. Click on the name and change it to something like Pivot. This helps keep your data organized and makes it clear what this table is used for. Now, with your pivot table selected, look at the top ribbon and click Choose Columns. A dialog box will appear showing all available columns. The first thing you need to do is uncheck Select All Columns. This clears all the selections so you can manually choose only the columns you need. Now check the data columns you want to include. For this example, let's select Segment, Country, Gross Sales, Sales, COGS, and Profit. These are the fields we'll make available for dynamic selection later. Once you've checked all the columns you need, click OK to confirm your selection. Next, we need to unpivot the data to create a structure that works with slicers. Click on the Segment column, then hold down the Control key and click on the Country column so both are selected. Now right-click on either of these selected columns and choose Unpivot Other Columns from the menu. What this does is transform all the other columns into rows, creating two new columns called Attribute and Value. The attribute column contains the names of your original columns, and the value column contains the corresponding data. Let's make this clearer by renaming the attribute column. Click on the column header where it says attribute and change the name to field. This makes it more intuitive when you're building your visual later. Now that your data is properly structured, look at the top ribbon and click Close and Apply. This will load the transformed data back into your Power BI model. Now you'll need to wait until the process is done, so be patient. Depending on the size of your data, this might take a few moments. Power BI is processing all the transformations you just made and loading them into memory. Once the loading is complete, look at the right side of your screen where you'll see the Visualizations pane. Click on the matrix visual icon to add a matrix to your report canvas. With the matrix selected, look at the data pane on the right side and you'll see your pivot table listed there. Expand it to see all the fields. Now let's build the matrix visual. Drag the country and segment fields into the rows area. Then drag the field column into the columns area. Finally, drag the value column into the values area. Your matrix should now display data with country and segment as rows and your selected fields as columns. Here's where the dynamic part comes in. Click on the slicer visual in the Visualizations pane to add a slicer to your canvas. With the slicer selected, drag the field column into it. This creates a slicer that lists all your available fields. To make this slicer work even better, click on the Format icon, which looks like a paint roller. Then click on Slicer Settings and select Selection. Here, turn on the option that says Multi-Selected with Control-Click. This allows users to select multiple fields at once while holding the Control key, giving them complete flexibility over which columns appear in the matrix. And that's it. You've now created a dynamic table in Power BI where users can choose which columns to display using a slicer. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like, subscribe, and see you in the next video.